Hi everyone! In this video, I want to give some Mac tips for Windows switchers, those people that are coming from a Windows background. I was there once upon a time, and it took me a little bit of time to adjust to the Mac operating system, macOS. So in this video, I'm going to give you some Mac tips to expedite the process. I suppose you need about a couple of weeks. There is a learning curve to this so that you can get adjusted to the new operating system. And I have the MacBook Pro right in front of me here, and I got a Windows laptop right there to show you the differences between each operating system. And there's a useful link in the description. You can click on that and that will take you to support.apple.com for Mac tips for Windows switchers. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to see once you have your new Mac is this iconic strip of icons called the dock. This is different than Windows because Windows has the start button right here. So when you click start, you can see the programs and whatever you want to look for, and there's a search bar here. But for Mac, in my opinion, I think it's much easier because you got the dock right here and you can select the app that you want immediately. For example, if I want Safari, I can click on that here. If I want Mail, I can click on that there. I think it's much more accessible. Now, this magnification effect, you won't get it immediately. Let me show you how to do that. Click on the Apple logo here. I think that resembles the start button somehow. Go to System Preferences, go to Dock, and you can see the magnification feature here. Turn on magnification and you can select how big you want the magnification to be. That's smaller and that's bigger. And also the size of the icons, the size of the dock. Some people like the dock size to be smaller, while others like it to be bigger. For me, I like to have it somewhere in between, so let's keep it here. The first thing that you got to know is the right click option on the Mac is different than on Windows, because on Mac, let's see here, there's the touchpad. If I want to right click, I need to use the two fingers on the Apple trackpad. So this is how you right click, and I can show you here. There you go. But of course, for Windows laptops, many of them have a right button, so that's how you can click, right click. You just simply click on the right button. But I love the Mac's expansive trackpad. So if you want to right click, two fingers. Or if you have an Apple mouse, you can click the right corner here. So that's the Apple mouse. You can click the right corner here. That's how you can right click. Now that we learned how to right click on the Mac, the next thing to do is to scroll, swipe, or click. So suppose I open Safari and I go to Apple's website. If you want to scroll, you simply use two fingers like this, and you scroll like that. The first thing you'll notice on a Mac computer is the smoothness of Safari. Safari is very smooth compared to other programs out there, and especially with the zooming. When you pinch, so you can see it's very, very smooth when you zoom. Let's have a look at the Windows laptop now. Suppose I want to open Chrome. Okay, so if I go to Apple's website, I suppose it's the same thing. You scroll with the two fingers, but it's not as smooth because when you zoom in, you can see that Chrome's zooming in feature is a little bit choppy. It's really choppy, and that's what distinguishes Macs from Windows laptops, I believe. The smoothness of the scrolling. It's really nice. Alright, so now that you know how to scroll, and of course the scrolling direction is upwards if you want to go down, or downwards if you want to go up. As for closing and resizing windows, you can see that the buttons are in the upper left corner of the window. There's the close button right there, and then there's the maximize button right there. So that's maximizing. There's minimizing. And of course there's the close button. And you can see that on Windows, the buttons are on the upper right corner of the window. So on the Mac, you got them on the left, and on Windows, you got them on the right. Basically the same. So if you want to change the volume, on a MacBook Pro, it's very simple. If you have a MacBook Pro 2016 and above, you can find it right here. Just click on the volume button and you can change it. One of the most interesting features that I like about macOS is something called Spotlight. And Spotlight can be accessed quickly by clicking Command Spacebar. There you go. So if I click Command Spacebar, you can see Spotlight. And Spotlight is very powerful because it quickly finds and opens apps, documents, and other files. And not just that, one of the best features in Mac is the built-in dictionary. Unfortunately, Windows does not have any built-in dictionaries, and I find that very annoying. But with Mac, you've got a thesaurus, you've got a dictionary. So for example, I want to see the meaning of, let's say I want to see the meaning of this word. Right-click and select Lookup. Researching. Now, if you have it for the first time, just click continue, and there you go. There's the dictionary. And you can have more options as well. For example, I've got Arabic language here, so Russian. If you want more languages, you can add them to your dictionary as well. And one of the amazing features for this touchpad is Force Touch. So click on it. If I add a little bit of pressure, so if I click once and then click deeply like that, you can see it popping up. So let me do it again. There you go. That's on the Force Touch trackpad. Or if you don't have a Force Touch trackpad, just simply select the word that you want. Right click and select look up the word. Again, Spotlight search is amazing. You can also type the word that you want. For example, let's say man. There you go. You can find the meaning of the word here in the dictionary. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at the Mac's touchpad and what we can do with it. Go to System Preferences, Trackpad. Now, let's see how we can do this. The first thing is swiping between pages. So you scroll left or right with the two fingers. Let me have a look at this. For example, let's say this website. If I swipe from left or right, if I swipe from left to right, that goes back. So there you go. If I want to go forward, I swipe from right to left. Simple as that. Next, you've got swiping between full screen apps. So swipe left or right with 3 fingers. Now, if I open multiple apps, for example, let's say I open the calendar. So if I have the programs full screen, let's say I have that full screen and I have that full screen, I can swipe between them with 3 fingers. There you go. I'm swiping. That's very nice with the macOS. Next is the notification center. If you swipe left from the right edge with 2 fingers, you'll get the notification center. So that's a nice feature to have. It goes like this. So if I have my finger and I swipe from left to right, you can see the notification center here. And you can customize your notification center the way you want. So for mission control, you just simply swipe up with 3 fingers like this, and you can see all the apps opened here. And for app expose, you swipe down with the 3 fingers like that, and that's the expose. For the launch pad, you can pinch with the thumb and 3 fingers. So it goes like this. See that? You can check out the trackpad options here to be familiar with this. And once again, how to find that, you go to the Apple logo here, System Preferences, and click on Trackpad. You can learn them here with some live examples. Now, show desktop is spreading with the thumb and the 3 fingers. So if I do that, there you go. I'm showing the desktop. And that's very convenient. For zooming in, you simply pinch in and out. So this, I just showed you how to zoom in, pinch in and out. Oh, I just used the feature here. I just used mission control with 4 or 3 fingers. You see how easy it is to switch between apps with the 3 fingers? Now with Windows, it's almost the same thing because Windows introduced this update and now it's very similar to the Mac. This wasn't there before. If you swipe up with 3 fingers like that, you can see new desktop and your apps and whatever you did earlier today, which is very convenient. I mean, Windows is catching up. Now rotating is rotating with the 2 fingers like that. So if I have a picture, let me download a picture, for example. Let's see, Mac. So, suppose I have this picture, for example, my favorite, the MacBook Pro 16-inch, which I am planning to get. Right-click, save image as. Let's say I want to save it on the desktop. So there you go. Now, let's try to rotate the image. If I want to rotate the image can see how easy that is. And there's so many powerful options in Mac's preview. I will make another video for that. But for now, you just need to get started with Mac's tips and tricks and how to use it. So there's also Smart Zoom, and Smart Zoom is double tapping with 2 fingers. So let me go back to Safari and show you what that means. If I double tap, you see, if I double tap with 2 fingers, it zooms in. That's why it's called Smart Zoom. And for pointing and clicking, again, if you want to right click, 2 fingers on the trackpad, that's right click. Scrolling, mission control, app expose. One of the nice features I like about Mac, so once you do this, once you swipe up, you can see the desktop here. You can add more desktops, just like in Windows as well. You can add more desktops, but that feature I believe Windows took from Mac because that wasn't available on Windows before. And you can create several desktops and open multiple apps on each desktop. So it's a very nifty feature. And suppose I want to take this app, for example, I want to take Safari and put it in the second desktop over here. How do I do that? Just simply drag it and take it to the second desktop. And suppose I want to have Calendar on the third desktop, I drag it and take it to the third desktop right there. And if I want to switch between desktops, remember, with your fingers, the 3 fingers, you swipe left or right, and you can easily switch between desktops. If you want to multitask, you just click on the maximize button here, keep pressing that, and you can see 3 options here. Tile window to left of screen, tile window to right of screen. So let me click on this. You can see it here, and if you have multiple apps open here, you select which one you want. So let's say I select this one and zoom out. You can control the distance between each for convenience, and that's how you do multitasking. Now with Windows, if you remember, the way to do multitasking, let's say open Word and Internet Explorer. With Windows, it was very simple as well. You just drag it all the way to the left, and there you go. That's how you do multitasking on Windows. With Mac, it's a little bit different. I find it easier on Windows regarding multitasking. So these are some very basic things to help you get started. Oh, and before I forget, this is something very important to know. If you open any app, let's say Safari here, or Notes, whatever app you open, if you notice here, you got the options for the app itself always fixed at the top here. So File, Edit, whatever. With Windows, it's different. You can see them here, and if I minimize it, they go with it. But with the Mac, they're always fixed at the upper left corner, and I find that much more convenient because you can always find whatever you need immediately. Suppose I switch to this app or that app, or suppose I have this, for example. So anything that you have, it will automatically switch. If I click on this, it switches. If I click on that, it switches as well. I think you get the picture. So with Windows, it's different. This is always attached to the app at the upper right, left corner, and you can drag it around. But on Mac, it's always fixed at the upper left corner of the screen. And that's for convenience because you can access the options that you want immediately. Now, the way you rename a file in Mac, let's say I created a file here, new folder. You can either right click on it and click rename, or you can simply click the enter button. And by the way, it's not really called enter. If you click that, you can see you can modify it. Let's say test. So clicking enter does not enter, by the way, in Mac. That's not how it works. On Mac, it's different. If you want to open a file, you don't click enter, you click Command O. So let me select this, Command O enters the file. It's not enter. Enter is for renaming the file. I know it's a little bit more difficult, but I don't care because I just use the touchpad to enter. Double click and enter the files. Now, as for Mac's keyboard combinations, they're a little bit different than Windows because you've got something called the Command button, Option, and Control. And I suppose Command is equivalent to Windows Control button here. So for example, on Windows, if you want to copy a file, you click Control C. If you want to paste a file, Control V. If you want to cut a file, Control X. On Mac, it's almost the same, but instead of Control, it's Command. So Command C for copying, Command V for pasting, and Command X for cutting. And then you also have, for example, Command P for printing, Command Z for undo, Command Q for quitting the app. And if you want to switch tabs, you can click Command Tab, which is very similar to Windows because Windows has Alt Tab, if you can see that, Alt Tab on Windows, but you got Command Tab on Mac. And of course, you also have Command Spacebar for the spotlight, like we said, which is, I think, the most powerful feature in Mac. Now, I'm going to post a link in the description below for a full list of Mac keyboard combinations that you need to know if you want to use the Mac more effectively. So guys, thanks for watching this video. It was a very basic introductory video, and I hope this helps a little bit. So if you guys comment on this video and give me some likes, I can make more videos like this in the future with more advanced features and operations using the macOS. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day.